Hey everybody, we're back here again with Trends Forecaster, famed Trends Forecaster Gerald Celente, and today's topic is, what is the future of the U.S. with China? Now, Gerald, you've been saying all along that it's going to be the China century, the 21st century. Considering Biden's past cheerleading for China during his Senate career, and is apparent not veering off course from that direction if he takes office, what kind of a future are we going to have with China, economically, militarily, and otherwise?
Well, economically, looking at what's going on in the world right now, of all the major nations, China is going to have the only one with a positive gross domestic product this year. And you mentioned about Biden. And of course, under the Clinton administration, it was he that really championed in China into the World Trade Organization.
Right.
And you look at the line of China's GDP until they get into the World Trade Organization in 2001. It was signed by George Bush. Straight line up.
Yeah.
And by the way, they brought China into the World Trade Organization 2 weeks after 9/11, so nobody really paid any attention to it.
Yeah, very.
And so it's going to be more of the same, but much worse. Look, China's totally opened up now.
Yeah.
And we become the Chinese way, even to the sense that people are wearing these foolish things all the time. And I say foolish things because, first of all, you see these little prostitutes with nobody around them doing the news and wearing these things.
Yeah.
But then you read the box, and here's the box. These masks help protect against certain particular contaminants, but do not eliminate exposure to the risk of any disease or infection. So we become the Chinese, and we used to make fun of them. And the reason they wear these in China is because the air is so filthy. 1.4 million people die each year of air polluted related diseases.
Mm-hmm.
So the business of China is business. The business of America has been war. And China's going to, America right now, this is kind of like after the COVID war, it's kind of like the United Kingdom after World War I. And you saw it go down and go down and go down. What happened? The pound went down, the dollar took its place. And the way things are going now with all the cheap money being pumped into the system, the dollar will go down, and before you know it, the yuan will take its place.
Well, let me ask you this. Was there ever any sense to Biden's claim, his previous claims while in the U.S. Senate, that a prosperous China would make the U.S. just as prosperous, a win-win for both nations? It was a great deal, he kept saying. Was there ever any sense of that even towards the beginning when we started pouring money and outsourcing all our jobs to China? Did it make any sense even in the beginning?
Well, look at the 3 million jobs that have been lost in America. Of course it never made any sense. He's a politician. Yeah, that's, in the Bronx we used to say bullshit has its own sound. And that's all it is. And go back to that debate, remember, with Al Gore and Ross Perot.
Yeah.
And Perot warned about the great sucking sound of sending our jobs to Mexico. I mean, you remember when they used to manufacture things in the United States.
Yeah.
And it was the same lie and scum crap coming out of Slick Willie Clinton's mouth that you don't want these dirty manufacturing jobs. Yeah, we're going to become a service sector society.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now you could work at, you could work at Walmart, you could work at Target, you could work at Amazon, you could make $62.50 a week by the time you pay your taxes and everything else, and then you could live like a slave on the plantation of Slavelandia. So these are politicians.
Now Biden is claiming when he takes office, if he takes office, that he's going to staunch the flow of jobs to China, and he's going to be pouring billions of dollars into creating new industries in the U.S. Total baloney?
Yeah, Biden BS. And they're politicians. They're pathological liars. They're sociopaths and freaks. Look at them. Look at you. How many pictures do you have to look at them? Look at the guy running Pennsylvania, Wolf.
Yeah.
Look at the guy, woman, whoever, the health secretary, guy with three chins over there, Levine, telling me about health.
That's a she, by the way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Lola.
But
L-O-L-A, Lola. I
so
mean, what
it,
an attitude. I mean, look at this guy, girl, whatever. Look at this shit. Look at the one that's over there in Los Angeles County, Farrah, a ghost.
yeah.
Look at Murphy, the little coward clown over there in Jersey. You got one little DeWine, the jerk over there in Ohio. Look at the morons and imbeciles destroying our lives in front of us. Why would anybody with a brain believe what they lie about?
Well, you know, there's a growing number of people that don't believe it anymore, but still, considering how the prostitutes, the mainstream media, is so engaged in their propaganda, you know, which has an effect, and especially among the younger generation. So with this shutdown, for instance, of the Hunter Biden story, that was the most egregious example of late. But with this continuing shutdown of any information that goes off the mainstream media track, you can't get that anymore. So considering that, considering what China is taking from us, eating our lunch, and Biden once said there's no way it's going to eat our lunch. Considering what China is going to do to us economically now with the military buildup, and considering what the increasingly controlled media, where are we going?
We're going hell on earth. How about that? The little Cuomo's just locked down New York City again, the restaurants.
Yeah,
All the small businesses going out of business. It's the Great Reset. And I'm not making that up. That guy, what's his name, from Davos. And he came up with it. And it's the Great Reset. The bigs are getting bigger and everybody else is going out of business. Look, they did away with the Robinson-Patman Act, Sherman Antitrust Act, Clayton Antitrust Act, Glass-Steagall Act, all of the acts that stopped the monopolies from becoming monopolies. And it's all in the hands of the big.
yeah.
And most people aren't going to know how bad it is.
And because of the shutdown driving small businesses out of business more and more, if there's any recovery after that, or supposed recovery, the bigs are going to be controlling all those former mom and pop and smaller industries, correct?
Well, it's already happening. You're looking at Starbucks. And they're planning on opening hundreds of new stores next year. And already over 2,000 coffee shops around America have gone out of business. And people forget what Starbucks used to do. They'd move into a city, and they'd open up more than they needed around the area to put the other ones out of business.
Yeah.
So that it's being taken over right in front of our eyes.
Gerald, if we had a president who was really sincere about stopping the outsourcing of jobs to China, rebuilding the American economy, what would be the best way to do that?
Oh, very simple. You ready? You got a pen?
I do.
All right. Put back in place what you took away. End of story.
And how do you do that?
What do you mean? How do you do it? You tell these little lowlives that don't never worked a day in their life, like a guy like Biden, the senators and so-called representatives. They don't represent us. They represent the money, the people that pay them off. They call campaign contributions.
Yeah.
You say, look, I'm in charge over here. The American people want the jobs back. I want the law back in place that Bill Clinton dismantled. You got it? I want these laws back, you little boys and girls. Before NAFTA, I want all these laws back in place so that when America was a middle-class society, this is why it was.
But considering the resistance against that among both parties, could a sincere, well-meaning president go through that and actually enact these reforms, reverting back to what we used to be? Is there any way that a sincere president can do that, considering the sellouts in both political parties?
Yes. And you know how you do it? You go to the people. And what you say is that this is what the people want, this is what I believe in, and both parties don't believe in it because they're getting paid off not to believe in it. So what I want to do in this next election is to have a referendum on the ballot in each state. And the referendum will simply say, reinstate the tariffs and regulations that were in place before they were taken off in 1990s, or whatever the date is, and whatever the proper language is. End of story. Let the people decide.
If Trump gets another term, because it's still undecided, and we may be shut down on YouTube by merely bringing up this point.
I know, I know.
But if he does get another term, can he reverse any of this? And do you see him willing to do that?
Yeah, you know, Trump is a lot of talk too. You know, he is not a lot of action and a lot of talk, and I don't see him doing it. I thought he would do more. You're looking at our trade deficit keeps rising, China keeps getting richer, and not a lot has been done. And again, to me, it's a very simple solution. Look, what happened is very simple. When you go back again to the 1990s, China couldn't make anything. You know, they were making nothing. There's all the American and European manufacturers that took our manufacturing processes and brought them over there. And when you come over to China, you can't open up your own place. You got to get a Chinese partner. In other words, you got to go in partnership with the state. And you only can own 49% of the business. So what they did was they gave the Europeans and Americans gave China everything that they needed to be the manufacturing giant of the world. And the same thing with AI. Yeah. And excuse me, not AI, but the whole digital world. Mm-hmm. So the trying to stop them from this happening is going to take more than just that. It's going to have to start a whole movement. You know, I get a kick out of these liberals. They always continue to talk about how important it is to buy local. How about buying national? Could you get that in your head, liberals? So if you had a movement, buy local, buy national, buy American, and you had these regulations in place that are going to prohibit these companies from getting their stuff made by slave labor countries, whether it's China, Vietnam, or others, and bring it back and mark up the price, that's the only way I see stopping it. And again, let's think about this for one moment. Remember when I was a kid, you remember too probably, how we were taught to hate those red Chinese? Yeah. And how about those Vietnamese, which America killed over 3 million of them, Agent Orange the place, destroyed it. But hey, now it's okay to do business over there because we could use their cheap labor and bring their products back.
Yeah, they're practically not an ally now after all
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
You know, the last time we talked, the Hunter Biden story was being suppressed, the laptop. Now it's even being mentioned, at least by mainstream media, because it now is confirmed what many of us knew all along. Considering the laptop story, considering Biden's past allegiance to China, you want in the picture behind us, you're wondering who he's pledging allegiance to. Considering his past history being a cheerleader for China, and with the Hunter laptop story, Hunter Biden laptop story, and what they may have in terms of compromising information and even blackmail, Biden, for all intents and purposes, is going to be putty in their hands, is he not?
That's all he is. What has he ever done? The guy's been sucking off the public tit for what, 47 years? Mm-hmm. What has he done? What has he accomplished? Oh, I know. 3 strikes, you're out. Put more people in. Well, I just saw one today. A guy serving 31 years in jail for selling pot.
Yeah.
He's getting out. Thank Joe Biden.
Yeah.
You know, what has he ever done? He's never done anything. He's a phony. And so you already have the Obama administration back in office. Yeah. If he gets in.
Do you see?
And what does he bring in? The guy from the Defense Department that's going to be the head of defense. He's on the board of directors of Raytheon. I mean, all you liberals, don't you love that?
Yeah, isn't that interesting? No conflict of interest there.
No.
Yeah. You know, you've been talking for years about the threat of China, the economy. You know, shifting over, they're going to dominate the economy, which is happening increasingly. But also the military buildup. Will that not be just as much a danger to the U.S. as their economic dominance?
Let's get this straight 100%. Name me the war that the U.S. military has won since World War II.
Grenada.
You got it.
Yeah,
Couldn't win
that
in
was a tough
Iraq.
one.
You couldn't win in Afghanistan. And you know, I got blackballed from the media for a long time.
Yeah.
Right after because one of my top trends for 2021 was USA Today ran the headline when it was a real newspaper.
Yeah.
2001 won't be our year, Trendseer says, and I warned that a wave of anti-Americanism was sweeping the globe. And that was before 9/11, several months before 9/11. And then when the Afghan war broke out, they're bringing me on and saying, what do you think? I said, what am I, what's going to happen? I said, if Alexander the Great couldn't beat him, if the British couldn't do it, if the Russians couldn't do it, what makes you think the Americans are going to be able to do it?
Yeah.
And nobody wanted to hear that. That makes me unpatriotic in that little minds. So going back to China, this is a whole different war. War breaks out. It's the end of life on Earth. Hypersonic missiles. We got 1.4 billion people over there. They have all the high tech they need. It's going to be drones. It's going to be cyber warfare. America can't win, hasn't won a war since World War II. And so they're not going to be any, China's going to be no threat to, America's not going to be able to stop China from what they want to do in the China seas over there as well.
See, what
so
I'm
what
thinking
China's going to do is they're just going to play right now the business card.
Yeah.
When they got the business in control, then they play the military card.
Yeah, I mean, sure, it doesn't have to be an all-out nuclear war. What it is China, building a navy, building aircraft carriers, a massive army. So they're flexing their muscle in that hemisphere, driving us out. And unless we go to nuclear all-out war, which we won't, China is going to push us out. That's the plan, apparently.
Yeah, and we have no business being there in the first place.
Yeah.
And if there's I would disagree with you that there won't be a nuclear war because we have mentally deranged people running the government. Or maybe you think that little Chucky Schumer is a brilliant guy. No, Nancy Pelosi, Dianne Not-So-Feinstein, Lindsey Graham. Oh, Mitch McConnell. Now there's a guy that I look up to as being brilliant. You got crazy people in charge. They'll do anything.
Yeah. Well, there were some right-wingers in the Bush administration that are talking about what good is nuclear weapons if we don't use them, and they're also planning out a limited nuclear war that they say the U.S. could win, and it wouldn't escalate into all out. So
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you're right. That's how crazy and uninformed they are.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're mentally deranged people. They're psychopaths, sociopaths, pathological liars. They're politicians, politics. They suck everything out of us. They don't work a day in their lives and tell us what to do. They forgot two words, the people. People should remember two words: public servant. You pay them to serve you, but everybody got it backwards now. Now you're the servant and you pay them.
So what you're saying then is as China continues to flex its muscles militarily, the U.S. may not back off, and some of these crazy people we have on our side may actually let it go to a nuclear war?
Yeah, of course they would. Look, how many more do they have to do? I want that guy Gaddafi out of there. I want the guy Assad out of there. Oh, that was a Nobel Peace of Crap Prize winner, Obama.
Yeah.
That guy Saddam Hussein has weapons of mass destruction, and that next mushroom cloud you see, that was Condoleezza Rice. And how about Dick Cheney? I mean, one crazy person after another.
The last time we talked, you mentioned I asked you about the growing mention, if not movement at this point, of secession. Now, do you see that as an actual possibility, the breakup of the United States, states seceding?
Yes, it can happen. Definitely can. Particularly as the economy really crashes lower. And people aren't going to be aware of the devastation of the economy. They'll throw in pennies like they've done the last time. And I could definitely see it happening in some states because the Great Divide has happened now. The country's never been divided like this in my lifetime that I've seen.
Well, Gerald, my question would be now during the Civil War, where the southern states seceded, there was a geographic division that was pretty neatly defined. Today, Republicans, Democrats, conservatives, left wing, it's all mixed up in almost every state. So, how would a state cleanly secede from the Union since you have so many factions within each state? It's not like the North South divide of the Civil War.
There was a very dear friend of mine, may his soul rest in peace. When he passed away, it hit me very hard for a lot of years. His name was Thomas Naylor, Naylor. And Thomas was heading the Second Vermont Republic, a secessionist movement in Vermont
Hmm.
in the 2000s. And he was making great headway. Great headway. And then it went backwards when Obama came in, because people believed that hope and change you could believe in, folks, and how he was going to be the savior, so it backed off on that. Then he passed away. It was gaining great momentum in Vermont, big time. The people were ready to split, and it could happen again. It could happen in a different state. It may be Wyoming. It may be North Dakota. It may be Montana. It may be Alabama.
How would that work, though? I mean, would it become like a federation with a federal government at least providing military protection? And would people split off and make alliances with other nations? I mean, how really would secession work in the modern day?
Well, secession would work in the modern day. Yeah, you still have the federal government. They're the military, but you're not paying federal taxes. And why should we anyway? When did that happen, Larry? What was that? Woodrow Wilson?
Yeah,
Yeah, the guy that gave us the Federal Reserve,
yeah,
the murderer that got us into World War I that we never should have been in.
yeah.
Oh, and by the way, this is very important. Out of the news, people don't care about it. The banksters have just taken charge. If Biden gets in, who's going to be the Secretary of the Treasury?
Right, right.
Janet Yellen?
Yeah,
What was Janet Yellen? The head of the Federal Reserve?
yeah,
We're putting the Federal Reserve now right in front of everybody's eyes.
yeah.
In front of everybody's eyes. The banksters just took over the country. They always have taken it over for the last how many years, but now it's right there in front of you.
Significant development, yes, and it's not getting nearly as
No,
much
no
attention.
media at all. Nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, they brought a woman in as Secretary of Treasury. Isn't that wonderful? That's the crap they're spewing out. They're like, good and bad doesn't come in men, women, black, white, you name the race or religion.
What about the factor of mental decline on Biden's part? A lot of people are making, I think, a persuasive argument that there's already signs of, and increasing signs of senility. So is he already not in control, being manipulated? People.
Yeah, he's a member of the club. That's where he got. That's where you get. That's where you get to those positions. You're a member of the club. You suck your way up. Everybody's in the same team. You know what you're doing. Again, it's the Obama administration. They were even talking about bringing that guy Rahm Emanuel back.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, how low can you go?
I mean, all the signs are not very good.
One after another. It's an
Yeah.
Obama team.
Yeah.
Susan Rice.
So wrapping it up now, Gerald, I know you have to go. What's your prediction if Biden gets in? What is your prediction of the state of the economy and the general state of the nation in the next 6 months?
There's going to be a false recovery around, I say, February. And people think things are going to be improving again. And then it's going to start declining very rapidly. The businesses that have been put out of business aren't going to come back. The jobs that are being created, they're not new jobs. They're putting people back to work where they left before. New jobs won't be created. You're going to start seeing more tensions start really heating up in the Middle East as well. It's already happening. And we see the country falling into the greatest depression. And it's going to be like we've never witnessed before. You're seeing homicides going up strong double digits.
Mm-hmm.
People going into stores and robbing your local, 7-Eleven or whatever, wherever the bodegas, wherever they're going into. Crime is going to increase dramatically. So it's going to be a very, very difficult year. And it's going to be not seen, I don't believe, really until probably this time next year. Because it takes a while for the people to really get past the hype. And they'll keep selling the hype. But the tragedy has already happened. It's dying in front of us. On the long term, I'm still very bullish on gold, silver, and Bitcoin. I don't give financial advice. I see silver prices rising at a much higher percentage than gold, maybe $2,100 an ounce and above. And I'm very concerned about social unrest. That's the other one as well.
The beginning of the United States as we know it, the beginning of the end of the U.S. as we've known it?
Yes. So again, the 21st century, it's one of our top trends for 2021. China 2021. The 21st century is going to be the Chinese century. And again, the Belt and Road Initiative, and on and on and on. And again, their economy is going up as the rest of the world is going down. Look what's going on in Europe. Look at the mess it is over there. Tourism is dead. Again, you have this guy, I don't know his name, that's the new health expert coming in under the Biden administration. He said not to have a Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
You shall not celebrate the birth of the Prince of Peace. Satan Claus has come to town. How more satanic could you get? I got some little piece of crap telling me not to get together with my family and celebrate Christmas for the crap that you're making up? They don't know. Show me. Could anybody show me any scientific evidence of what you're saying to do? You lowlives.
Yeah.
Not one piece. Oh, stay 6 feet away. Oh, wait, I'm in Europe. We're only staying away 1 meter because the wind stops blowing at 1 meter. And they're making this stuff up. Again, 94% of the people that died had 2.6 pre-existing chronic conditions. The recovery rate of people 1 to 20 years old is 99.997%. The overall recovery rate is 99.8%. Why are you locking it down?
Is the real motive, as some suggest, population control and conditioning rather than any type of control of the virus?
Yes, it's the Great Reset. It said it right. It's there. Pick it up. What's that guy, Klaus, whatever his name is? The guy who puts on Davos.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Great Reset. The bigs are taking over, right? You could go to Costco. You could go to Walmart. You could go to Target. But you can't go to your local stores. And you can't go to your local restaurants. But McDonald's is okay.
Yeah. I know, Gerald. Okay, I know you have to go.
Yep.
So once again, Gerald Celente with some predictions of rough times ahead, and your predictions have always been right on target. We thank you once again for joining us, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks, Gerald.
Okay, thank you so much. All the best. Bye-bye.